Okay, so we're ready. Let's start. Hello, Chad. Nice,
Hey,
nice to nice to see you here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for finding time to talk with us. We have as our native advertising advisor. We're very happy that you joined the project, and we have several questions for you from our community. Most popular, most common question from our community to you, and one of them is how up to you. What is the most important ideas now? What's the trend of native advertising right now?
so so I actually just finished up some major research on the entire native advertising technology landscape. It grew last year. I discovered 272 native advertising technology companies. That grew from last year to this year to just over 400. So native advertising from a technology perspective is exploding globally, okay? But the biggest trend that I found is out of all the different categories of native advertising, the one category that grew the most, that had the most people come in and start companies around, is influencer advertising or influencer marketing. It is the hottest thing right now. Brands across the world are all embracing native advertising from an influencer perspective. So that's really the hottest trend I'm seeing based on the research that I've conducted over the past 12 months.
Thank you. That's impressive numbers, and we are really happy that we work in this field now. That's really hot. And what do you think? Which information about U.S. market, a U.S. native advertising market, would be interesting for our community?
So I've spent a lot of time in Europe. I've spent some time in Moscow. I know, with the exception of Asia, I'm pretty familiar with the global native advertising environment out there. And I will tell you, the major difference between the U.S. market and the European market is the European market is more focused on long form native advertising. So what I mean by that is the online magazines, online publications, online blogs, creating long form native advertising. So creating custom articles and having content shops produce those, okay? On the opposite side, in the U.S., is mostly focused on the programmatic or the short-sighted digital form, as well as an entire ecosystem of video. Okay, now Europe, I don't think is as far forward on the video side as the U.S. They're more focused on the long form. So I think that's a big difference between the U.S. and Europe. Not that Europe doesn't do programmatic or video or some of the short form stuff. It's just the U.S. is more focused on it, in my opinion. And with the exception of Ad You Like, I'd say the U.S. is more geared towards AI-powered technology. But at the same time, I think a lot of the blockchain technology that's coming out for native is stronger in Europe and in Eastern Europe than what it is here. I don't think that many companies are embracing blockchain here yet as far as development. However, that said, U.S. companies are investing in the blockchain over in Europe and Eastern Europe. because they want to get in on what's hot. And but unfortunately, companies here in the U.S. aren't really they're not really focused on producing technology on top of the blockchain yet. That's what I'm seeing in native advertising. So you guys are way ahead of the curve, and I'm so impressed, and that's why I came on board and why I'm so excited.
That's brilliant. We're very happy, and it looks like we have pretty promising future, and we definitely need to expand to United States market.
Yeah, for sure.
The last question: what do you think? Could you compare native video advertising and paid advertising? Which is more effective, efficient? I mean, what do you think?
Well, so when it comes to just paid media, online, digital media, display advertising is having a really, really hard time. I mean, if you look at the first display ad ever, it was back in 1994. I believe it was from IBM. I may be off on that, but it had a 46, I think, % click-through rate. Think about that. A display ad had a 46% click-through rate in 1994. Now it's less than 0.5%. When it comes to native advertising, excuse me, on the influencer side, the engagement we're seeing today is at levels of what display advertising was in 1994. It's huge because, well, I don't even need to go into the details. When it comes to influencers, they have their own audience. They have their own audience that's interested in what they have to say, that engages with them on a regular basis. They're used to it. It's a huge difference, huge difference. In fact, you can't even compare them. They're so different. Influencer advertising, native advertising, blockchain, coupled with artificial intelligence, that's the future.
That's very interesting. I never know these numbers. That's very interesting because it looks like we stay in the beginning of next big thing in advertising industry.
Well, okay. And that's why when you and I started talking originally, and I did my due diligence on your project, I was very excited to come on board because I can tell you with complete sincerity and knowledge that no company in the world has combined AI and blockchain. You are the first, and this project is amazing as a result.
Thank you. That's a big honor to hear such words, and we will do our best to perform it.
Awesome.
Thank you. And thank you from us and from our community for this call. We will distribute this video in our chat, and see you later. Hear you later.
Okay. Hey, Dmitry, anytime, man.